Hi, my name is Slim GoodBar. Today is January 20th, 2023. I am here relaying information as I see it, read it, hear it, or lived it. Today I want to talk about suicide, celebrity suicides, and mental health. In the past few years, suicides have been in the top talks for leading cause of death. Men have died by suicide 3.9 times more often than females, but females were 1.8 times more likely to attempt suicide. 90% of the people who died by suicide had a mental health condition at the time of their death. 10% of adults Americans have thought about suicide, and 1.2 million Americans attempted suicide. 54% of Americans have been affected by suicide in some way. 72% of communities in the United States did not have enough mental health providers to serve residents in 2021, according to federal guidelines. 54% of firearm deaths were suicide. 53% of all suicides were by firearms. Suicide and suicide attempts cause emotion, emotional, physical, and economic impacts. I want to discuss the latest celebrity suicides. When I heard DJ Steven Twitch Boss died, I didn't have no understanding. I was like, what? He just seemed so accomplished and joyful. I'm pretty sure everybody that have or seen the Ellen show watched how he would get people out of the audience to start dancing. My question is, how do we get people to talk about what's going on with them or how they feel? I just want to know what would make a person drive not too far from his house to a motel in their life. He had a wife with 3 kids, successful career, talented dancer. As of yet, no mention of mental health. This isn't the first time a celebrity has took their own life. Actor Robin Williams, he was a great actor. I would watch all of his shows and movies like Mork and Mindy, Mrs. Doubtfire, and RV. Those are just a few. Throughout his career, he had this joyfulness about him that kept the world with laughter. His suicide left the world wanting to know why. A couple of days ago, Lisa Marie Presley died from cardiac arrest, found unresponsive at her house. She and her mom was just at the Golden Globes 2 days before that. But with that being said, Lisa Marie Presley lost her son to suicide in 2020. Not saying she tried to take her own life, but the cause is unknown. Being incarcerated, I have spoken with a few individuals. Johnny, he had 3 suicide attempts, tried to slice his wrist, tried to overdose on pills, and the third time was a combination of all drugs, alcohol, pills. Johnny was telling me he was just tired of living as an addict, stealing from his mom, just wanted out of this life. The only thing that helped was a friend telling him suicide is the most selfish act you can do. When a person commits suicide, they just don't hurt themselves. They also hurt the people they love. You hurt your mother, your kids will be hurt, you will be hurt. Uh, you know, you will hurt your. Hold on, let me start over right here. When a person commits suicide, they just don't hurt themselves. They also hurt the people they love. Your mother will be hurt, your kids will be hurt and wondering why you left them. And his friend also said he would be hurt because he loved him also. So when a person commits suicide, it affects everybody that you know. Another person I had a conversation with was Kelly. He told me his father in Colorado came home one day to find his son dead in his bedroom. The son had shot himself. But that same father, a year later, went into his son's bedroom and killed himself. This is this story. This is my story about a suicide that has affected me during my time in prison. It was early morning, about 7 a.m. I was on my way to the track for my daily jog. On my way down to the track, I could hear someone yelling behind a housing unit. I couldn't make out what the yelling was. I just thought it was the sergeant of the unit being an asshole like always. But this day was different because I heard yelling, then I heard a loud noise as if someone slammed a full locker box on the ground. So I continued to the track for my job. When I was finished, I was heading to the gym. That's when I found out what the sergeant was yelling about and that loud noise I heard. Sergeant was yelling at a guy on the roof of a 5-story building. I was told the guy asked if anybody down there coming out of the unit so he wouldn't land on them. His reason for suicide was the parole board gave him more time. Girlfriend left and they kicked him out of the dog program. None of these are a reason to take your own life. That suicide is in my memory for life. Every time I see that building, walk past that building, it reminds me of that day. I didn't see it with my eyes, but I heard it. I can still hear it to this day. Suicides just don't affect family. It affects family and friends. It also affects anybody that see it or hear it. Mental health is needed more than we think. It took for me to commit multiple crimes and go to prison, get mental health treatment. Instead of them asking those questions when I first started to get in trouble, why do you do drugs? Why do you drink alcohol? What is the real problem? The real problem is that a lot of us grew up broke where parents worked so much trying to make ends meet by the end of the day, they too tired to even recognize what is really going on with themselves or their kids. I think the saying "it takes a village to raise a kid" is true in most ways, with our village being our community. A lot of children today grow up being a product of their environment. By the time these children become adults, they have lived and seen so much, if they're still alive long enough to become an adult. Me personally, I have seen my share of it all. I know through my childhood, friends killing friends, robbing each other, and even sleeping with their friends' girlfriends. And this will have a person going through depression, anxiety, mood swings, stress, drugs, and alcohol. Not being able to grasp what's going on with yourself is your mental health. Breaking down a few statistics about suicide and how it affects others, discussing celebrity suicides, why and how it affects others, and elaborating about mental health, why some things take a toll on people. This is Mr. Slim Goodbar signing out from today's listeners with more ways to look at life than just one. Till next time, I will continue to come up with topics to keep you coming back.